Hey, it's good to see you. How are you? Everybody good? Okay? Everybody online that's watching today or later in the week, it's great to have you here with us as well. For those that do not know, my name is Greg. I'm part of the team here. It's great to host you as we kick off just into this new month together. So for those that may be newer to us and they're braving the waters for the first time, we're a people that are practicing the way of love through the art of living alongside for the sake of neighbor and creation and self. And our normal gathering has a rhythm, and the rhythm kind of looks like this, and you can see it on your screen. We're going to sing to center our affection on God and connect us with our bodies as well as each other. We move into the sacrament of the Eucharist to remind us how deeply loved we are and to hold space for others. And then we reflect on the story of God to encourage and form our lives in faith, hope, and love. And then we move into a time of engagement to process what God may be stirring in us as we prepare for the new week ahead of us. So it is great to be with you. Thank you so much for trusting us with your Sunday morning. And if you are able-bodied and physically interested to stand together and kick off our morning, please go ahead and do so. If you just want to chill and hang out and sit, that's totally fine as well. Make yourself at home, and Dennis and Megan are going to lead us on in this moment of song together. Thanks, Dennis, Megan.
As we enter in this time of song, let's take a moment to read out this prayer together. Oh, come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise. Let us come into God's presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise. Amen. Let's worship. It's like it was yesterday. I was praying for a miracle, scared to have a little hope. Now looking back today, seeing all the things you've done, and I can't even add them up. 1, 2, 3, up to infinity. I run out of numbers before I can thank you for everything. And God, I'm still counting my blessings and all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. And neither the seasons never last forever, so God, I will remember, and all of the reasons my heart has to be grateful, all the times you've been faithful to me. And God, I'm still counting my blessings and all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more that I look and find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. Oh, I can't count that high, but I count your blessing, Lord. One, two, three, up to infinity. I run out of numbers before I could thank you for everything. And God, I'm still counting my blessings, all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, that high. Oh Lord. And 1, 2, 3, up to infinity. I run out of numbers before I could thank you for everything. Sing it again. And God, I'm still counting my blessings and all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. And Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. Sing it out. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. And pull me in closer, close to your heart. May I be a pure reflection of all you are. Love that is patient, and love that is kind, a love that keeps no offenses or wrongs in mind. Make me like Jesus, yes, Lord. Make me like Jesus. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, and I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. Oh, we are open to your spirit right now, Lord. You're faithful to find me right where I am, even in my wandering. You call me friend, and mercy receives me and lifts me to my feet. And I'm caught up in the wonder and mystery of knowing Jesus, of knowing Jesus. Oh, my heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. Do whatever you want to do. Say whatever you want to say. Move however you want to move. Change whatever you want to change. Do whatever you want to beside you, and open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Oh, lead us in your love, oh Lord. Sing again, holy and holy. There is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Oh Lord, lead us in your love. Lead us in your love, 'cause I will build my life, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy and holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Good morning. My name is Joey, and I have the honor this morning to lead us in our communion, our Eucharist moment. Every week we pause to remember and reflect on God's love poured out for us and Jesus' body broken for us. And so we have our Eucharist confession that is just a moment for us to kind of center around all together this confession. So in a moment we'll read it out, but on your tables you should have the little Eucharist elements there. And so I invite you to just hold those in your hands. If you are at home watching online, hopefully wherever you might have some form of element there as well too. But please join me as we read this confession together. So, through this sacrament of bread and cup, we remember Jesus. Through this bread and cup, we confidently confess we are the beloved of God. Without shame or fear, we acknowledge and confess our shortcomings and sin. Forgive us, God, and help us to forgive one another. In the light of your mercy, we say thank you. And as one diversified body in Christ, we receive. Amen. And another rhythm of our life together on Sundays is we hold space for things that are going on in and around our lives and in and around our world. And so, This week was, last week and this week have been the start of the school year for all of the districts in our area. And so I was asked to kind of share just because I work in the school system as a assistant principal. And so as we enter into our time of prayer and taking our Eucharist, just invite you and encourage you to lift up some prayers for the teachers, administrators, educators, homeschool parents, all of our students. A new year brings so much promise and hope, but there's also a lot of challenge that can be there too. And then if any of you have been checking out the news, you've also seen just the horrible earthquake that hit Morocco. And so also just prayers for them, that country, that community, for help and aid to be able to reach them and care for people. And then also that this is Suicide Prevention Month. And so again, just prayers around that and the health and care of people. So I'm going to light our candle of solidarity. To just commemorate all of these things, and then we're going to take a little time in prayer. So please partake in the Eucharist in prayer.
nights and tears, all of the darkness, trying to fight my fears. Alone, so long, alone. I don't know who I'd be if I didn't know you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I don't know where I'd go if you ever let go, so keep me held in your hands. I started breathing, the weight is lifted here. With you it's easy, my head is finally clear. There's nothing missing when you are by my side. I took the long road, but now I realize, come home with you, I'm home. I don't know who I'd be if I didn't know you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I don't know where I'd go if you ever let go, so keep me held in your hands. I don't know who I'd be if I didn't know you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I don't know where I'd go if you ever let go, so keep me held in your hands. You're my safe place, my hideaway. You're my anchor, my saving grace. You're my constant, my steadiness. You're my shelter, my oxygen. I don't know who I'd be if I didn't know you. Thank God I do. I don't know who I'd be if I didn't know you. I'd probably fall off the edge. I don't know where I'd go if you've ever let go, so keep me held in your hands.
Thanks, Dennis. Megan. Hey, Scott, join me if you would. Everybody say hi to Scott Page. Molly, come on up here too. This is Scott and Molly Page. You guys have never met Scott and Molly Page, but right now you're about to meet Scott and Molly Page. And this beautiful, handsome man and beautiful, lovely lady, we go actually way back. It's like 20 years back. Is it that long? It's really been a while, hasn't it?
It's really been that long.
It's been a while. So these fine friends of mine and Michelle's are actually from Northwest Arkansas. Now, a little tidbit, a little story that you don't know. Before we took the role here, I was invited to consider prayerfully to take the role here. We were heading to Northwest Arkansas. I had gone out there by myself. I've got some fantastic friendships. And then I went out there again with Michelle, and we were kind of discerning the process. And then we took our kids out there all in 1 year. So we weren't even going to be here. And then Larry, a guy named Larry, some of you know him, he said, hey, Greg, before all of that, would you consider? And so he went into a 30-day discernment process. And you're welcome, I stayed. I'm kidding. But anyway, I wanted to introduce you to these two, and they're with their crew. And anyway, say hi to everybody and give a little bit about who you are and why you're actually in Portland besides wanting to see Michelle and I.
I just came to see Greg and Michelle. Yeah. No, we came with our staff. There's a conference going on here in Portland for Practicing the Way. And so we're just trying to get into a lifestyle of taking our church into a lifestyle of following Jesus and apprenticing after him. And we just have a tiny little church in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to follow after Jesus.
Yeah. Anything from, how are you, how you doing? Kids are good? You got 2 married off already?
Yes, we have 2 married off. We have 4 children. Our life is full. We're blessed. We're tired. But we are so happy to be here with you guys.
Now, they've got 2 married off, and then they got 2 that's 13 and 15. So they're about to go through it all over again. So I brought them up to pray for them. Anyway, but hey, here's a moment we call this, truly, here's a moment we call this moment passing the peace, where we walk, if you want to, if you feel comfortable enough, we invite you to stand and walk around, just pass the peace, meaning God's peace be with you, and in return, God's peace be with you as well. But we just want to create an atmosphere of welcome and just to see each other as we see Christ. So if you feel comfortable enough, we're going to create some space and an atmosphere of welcome. So go ahead, make sure you see Scott and Molly and their crew, and give them a hug and welcome them as well. So let's take some time together. Go ahead. Love you, buddy. Hey, everybody, real quick. You guys, everybody know Troy, right? Troy, come on up. Troy is a part of Alongsiders, and but more importantly, it is what Troy gives his life to that's really important, especially as it relates to what's happening here in our Portland and how we love it. And hey, by the way, I really need you to connect with that fine gentleman, so I need you to connect, okay?
Yeah.
So here's that. So
Is this on?
It is, hopefully. Is it?
No, not on.
There you go. Now you're about to be on.
Hello? Okay, there we go.
Troy was wondering if his attire was suitable, and I'm all like, you look really good. Like, here's like a Ken doll right here. This is like a Ken doll right here.
Ryan Gosling's got nothing on me.
Nothing on this man. Nothing on this man. Anyway, Troy, as you guys know, he's got a beautiful story of redemption, and through that story, he's become this amazing entrepreneur, and he started this sober living environment called Premier. And I want him to quickly kind of let you guys get just a taste of what's been happening in these last X number of months, because it's really miraculous and marvelous. So go ahead.
Okay. What Greg failed to mention on that slide, so everybody knows, is September is actually recovery month as well.
I didn't know that.
For individuals that are in recovery. So we maybe put that up for next time for the Eucharist and for prayers for people that are in recovery. So yeah, I started Premier Sober Living January of this year. I went out and got a house in Happy Valley, and it holds 12 individuals that are in recovery, or they've stabilized coming out of treatment. It's done moderately well, and so I went out and I got another house over in Southeast Portland for individuals, and that houses 12 people. And then I realized I have 2 men's houses, and I'm actually denying a certain population of people, that being the female population. So what I did is I just procured another house just in Portland. It's just kind of in the Happy Valley, Portland area, and I'm hoping to have that available by November 1st. So I will then have 36 beds, 24 for men, 12 for women, that I'll be able to help in recovery. With that...
Yeah. This is all since January, okay? This is all since January. You don't want to play this guy in Monopoly. He just buys up properties.
So with that, though, and the whole end goal is that I'm looking to establish 2 treatment centers. And one of them I had the idea of, and I was moving forward with a colleague of mine, and it's going to be out in Clackamas, and it's going to be primarily for individuals with, commercial insurance policies through an employer, or youths 18 to 24, young adults, I should say, that, are still on their parents' insurance policy. And once again, I realized that I would be denying a certain population of people where there is a huge need. I'd been praying on it, and somebody came to me out of the blue, and they said, look, I have on 69th and Holgate an old church, and I just acquired this building, and I'm willing to fund the whole thing. I want to put a clinic here, but I don't know what I'm doing. And so I got with my colleague, and I said, what do you think? Can we do this at the same time? He goes, actually, it'd be better for me to do it at the same time. There's about 20,000 square feet. It's in Southeast Portland. The build-out is happening. Everything is going in. The certificate has been submitted with the Oregon Health Authority. This will be for the Medicaid patients, the individuals that are on Oregon Health Plan. And I'll be able to serve that population as well. So Super excited.
It's amazing.
In total, once everything is up and running by January 1st, my goal will be to be able to serve 100 individuals, men and women, have supportive housing, and also be able to provide the treatment services for substance use disorder and mental health services.
So it's amazing. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. So I just want you guys to make sure that you connect with Troy. If you have a family member or friends, or if you're in relationship with people that are truly struggling through addiction and need support, please make sure you connect with Troy. He's kind of our anchor point in the city for that now, and I'm really grateful for his life and what has happened through his life so far since January, which is nuts. And everybody that's in the room that are working the treatment or working your sobriety, would you be bold enough just to stand so we can see you and celebrate you for what you're doing? So very well done, well done, well done.
Say it louder for people in the back.
Yeah, in the back. So, yeah. We see you, we're encouraging you, keep going, and we are walking with you in whatever way possible. So Troy, thank you. Ken, I'm gonna call you Ken from now on, so. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Love on Troy today somehow when he leaves, so, all right. So I'm going to offer just kind of a brief reflection for today. Last week and today, our reflection invites us once again. Well, actually, before I do that, if you are newer to us, here's an opportunity for you. So if you are newer to us, this is something new. We're not going to give you any swag or anything like that. But if you're newer to us, we're going to invite you to go ahead and open up your phone, click on that QR code, scan that QR code, and then click on. There's going to be 4 organizations, local organizations, that we will donate $10 on your behalf to one of those 4 organizations. These organizations will flip and change throughout the year, but this is an opportunity for you to donate because you've been here. We'll donate on your behalf, obviously, but click I'll leave that up there for a moment, and you can see the organizations that we are connected to, and they will flip during the year. But last week and today, our reflection invites us to consider again what it means to be a people that are practicing gratitude. Everybody say gratitude. Also, if you don't get to this, it's on the kiosks outside in the foyer. To be a people practicing is really an invitation, once again, to formation as it is an engagement. It's the inner work and the outward action and the responsibility that comes from that inner work. And I cannot lie, but this week has been a hard one for me in the practice of gratitude. Anybody else, that I'm not alone in this room? Navigating both work and personal challenges, as well as I've been dealing for almost a year with chronic back pain. This has led me down a dead-end street of complaint. I met a few other people down there with me, so it was good. We got to hang out and talk about stuff. But as I shared last week, there are times when we focus on the headwinds and forget the tailwinds. The headwinds are the challenges or the difficulties that push against our life, and the tailwinds being the blessings that help life move along. And the headwinds are more visible to us because we spend so much more time talking about them or dealing with them specifically, while the tailwinds are more invisible since we pay less attention to them. And even though cultivating gratitude in life helps life to flourish, gratitude can be difficult to accomplish. And if we only focus on headwinds, then what begins to happen is slowly ingratitude becomes our response or even our posture or attitude. And due to my own challenges this week, I began to ask what actually weakens gratitude in our life. And from some personal assessment and some study, I'm just going to toss these up on the screen. Obviously, this doesn't encompass everything, but these are just a few things that I think actually weakens gratitude in our life. Envy or comparison, grumbling or complaining, resentment, backbiting, the use of hurtful words, unforgiveness, discontent, being stuck and staying stuck, and not taking ownership. Now, I know none of you fall into any of those categories there because I know I am in the midst of saints in the room. But due to time, I won't speak to every single part of this list, and everyone said amen. But we do know that when we read like the Gospel of Mark 15, verse 10, this is the only time Mark actually uses this word envy. Pontius Pilate was the governor of Judea in the ancient time of Jesus, and he even perceived that it was out of envy that the chief priests had delivered Jesus up. And this was the latter part of Jesus' life. And so what we can read from that just alone, that even deeply religious people lose their grip on gratitude. They can feel threatened and consciously move towards malicious intent, failing or falling into this never-ending cycle of comparison, which over time begins to erode our own belovedness and our uniqueness and the contribution thereof. Or we might consider the parable of Jesus about the laborers in the vineyards. This is the really beautiful short story of a gracious and generous employer who hired workers at different times during the day. He hired some workers at 9 a.m. He hired different workers at 12 p.m. He hired some more at 3 p.m. and then he even hired more at 5 p.m. But at the end of the day, the employer chose to pay everyone the same wage regardless of when they started working. Right? And so what happens because of that is people begin to grumble and complain that, hey, I started earlier. Why are they receiving the same pay as I am? And then the employer says, or Jesus in the parable says, that don't I have the right to do what I want with what belongs to me? Or are you resentful because I am generous? Sometimes discontent blinds us to what we've been given, and resentment blinds us to how good it is that we should celebrate others when they receive the good. And sometimes we may be unaware that our complaining turns to overgeneralizing, and soon everything feels unsatisfactory. The small things become the big things, and we find ourselves camping in the fields of unforgiveness. And at that point, it's hard to get unstuck, and it's hard to see ourselves clearly or even see a way forward when the log in your own eye is restricting your own vision. There's another story that Jesus was met by a large crowd of people when he exited a boat that was used to try to get away from all of the busyness and the masses. But Jesus was watching the crowds as they were running on the shore to get where he was landing. And when he got out of the boat, he was overcome with compassion because of these folk. And he decided to spend the day and into the evening with them, teaching them and loving them. And the disciples of Jesus came to him concerned that it was getting too late, and the place where they were was quite isolated. And so they asked Jesus to send the crowd away so that they could go and they could find food for themselves in the countryside or the villages that were close by. But Jesus responds to his disciples and he says, well, you give them something to eat. And surprised by Jesus' response, they made the case that they absolutely don't have that type of money to feed all of these masses. And then Jesus says, well, what do you have? Go take a look. How much bread do you got? And so after checking, they came back and said, well, we got 5 loaves and we got 2 fish. And he told the disciples to go through the crowd and tell everybody to sit down. And then Jesus took what was given and he gave thanks. And then he broke it and he dispersed it into all of these pieces and gave it to the disciples to give to the people. And at the end of this short story, it says everyone ate until they were full. Jesus didn't write off the loaves and the fish as nothing. Jesus didn't focus on the headwind. He looked for the tailwind. He looked for what would move life along. He looked for what would care for the people. He paid attention to the possibility instead of the improbability. And when he found it, he gave thanks and he shared it. Sometimes we find ourselves stitching our days together with just a thread of gratitude. And sometimes all we can do is say thanks as we go through the day. Thanks that today I'm alive. Thanks today I have a faucet and there is running water. Thanks that no one blew up the world today. See, gratitude, like interest, begins to compound. And seeking out the small things for which we can give thanks for reminds us we are participants in life and not merely spectators. And actually, it's the practice of gratitude that makes life meaningfully tangible. It makes life alive. It's gratitude that attunes our senses and helps us pay attention to the little gifts that are stitched into the patchwork of our normalities. And I imagine this is one thing that the disciples walked away and learned, that when Jesus said to them, "You give them something to eat," they were shocked and dismissive at first, but Jesus was doing them a favor. He was helping them get unstuck. He was helping the scales fall from their eyes. He was helping them see there is more in this moment. He was inviting them to participate in a greater story, to witness how the natural workings of generosity connects to the grace and gratitude, which not only will end up affecting their own vision, but it will actually affect the bodies of those around them. I think Diana Butler Bass says it really simply and provocatively. Gratitude is not a form of passive acceptance or complicity. Rather, it is the capacity to stare doubt and loss and chaos and despair right in the eye and say, "I am still here." So gratitude maybe is like an act of defiance. Because gratitude will tunnel underneath envy. Gratitude will tunnel underneath complaint. Gratitude would tunnel underneath resentment and unforgiveness and discontent. And then gratitude would begin to gently untwist our knotted hearts, waking us yet again to God's story of abundance instead of our vision of scarcity. And then the gift of these divine moments that we experience in and through life begin to happen. And so, as I even said last week, defiance is subversive. Gratitude is subversive. Gratitude is transformational. And even in the hardship, even in the difficulty, even in the despair and the chaos, and all of what the headwinds bring to us, there are these moments where we can pause and take notice of our own bodies, connect with our senses, and be reminded in this moment, God, thanks. Just thanks that I'm just breathing. Thanks that I got these clothes on my body and these shoes on my feet. Thanks that I can actually go inside that place that covers me during all of the seasons that Portland brings to me. Thank you. Just thank you for these friends in my life, or just thank you for that encounter that I had with that barista. Thank you. Thank you. But as we always know, we always end it with, well, what do you think? What do you think? And so we engage. These are just simple prompts. But there might be more stirring within you that you need to pay attention to. I always tell you every week, don't write down things I'm saying. Write down that stirring within you, because those are the things you need to pay attention to. But these are just some simple prompts as we engage together. Are there things and relationships in your life that are fueling negativity, cynicism, or grumbling? And what steps might you take to confront these things, relationships, with gratitude instead of complaint? Ask yourself, am I growing in gratitude? And then G.K. Chesterton once said, when it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or take them with gratitude. What do you think he means? And how can you apply it? If these relate, great. If anything else relates, and things stirring in you, relate. But as you guys know, there's a white card on the table, there's a pen, maybe you brought something else, maybe you have your phone, but this is our moment of engagement where we spend X number of minutes together processing maybe what's happening within us and what's happening with those around us. And so just take some time and go ahead and engage. All right. Okay, so if you don't know this, you're going to know this. If you've heard this before, that's fine as well. Engagement doesn't stop here, right? Just as we reflect on what's happening inside of us, we continue to engage through the week because the engagement gives us opportunities to actually lean into the practice, right? So here's a quick story, and I'm going to wrap it up, and then Michelle might want to come up because I think she just needs to talk about a few things real quick as we get ready to go for the week. Many years ago, I think we were driving either from here to maybe it was from California. We used to live in California, and we were driving up here, I think, to see our family and young kids at the time. So you're trying to find a place to stop and get them to the bathroom and whatnot. And we stopped. I think it was a restaurant of some sort. I'm still continually think it was Denny's. I have no idea, but I don't think there's a Denny's that exists on the 5 freeway. But just roll with it, okay? It was a restaurant, and we had stopped. And we were getting out of the car, and around the same time, somebody else had pulled over another family. And I watched this gentleman from the car get out of the driver's side, and he walked over to his trunk, and he pulled out his prayer rug, and he went and he laid it down in the parking lot. And he was facing east, and he began to have his prayers right in the middle of the parking lot. Oh, I'm telling you, I was trying to hold in the emotion. It was like stuck in my throat just watching this devotion. In the middle of everybody else trying to either get into the restaurant to get something food or wrangling kids to get into the bathroom, here's this gentleman that paused and gave thanks. And there's all of these feelings like, man, these questions I begin to ask myself, like, would I ever do that? Does my faith speak of these practices? At that time, I don't think it really did. And I walked away and we drove away and I was staring the whole time. Michelle was like, stop staring. And, but I was just taken by it. And there was these moments in all of our life. Listen, I call them interruptions. And you guys, some of you know, I live by this motto in life, like, a life interrupted is a life inspired. That if we're open to the interruptions, that could either be just interruptions, just divine or otherwise. That's where you get inspiration from. People are searching and trying to get inspiration from many things, and that's fine. But what I've learned is that inspiration is sustained because of interruptions. And so this moment for me was a deep interruption about what it means to stop regardless. Center yourself, get inside your body, take a moment and go outside and give thanks. Give thanks to God for life. Give thanks to God in the public places, in the private spaces. Just pause and give thanks. And I'm grateful for this gentleman who I'll never know on this side of heaven. And I'm grateful for the example and that simple interruption that has lingered with me all of this time. And that I think he has actually, even though he didn't know, really begun to introduce me. And I think that's where my study of the contemplative and the mystic traditions of the Catholic Christian faith began to happen for me. And I'm really grateful. So all to say, be open to the interruptions, to pause and give thanks. Give thanks. Let it become truly a practice in your life. Michelle, quickly, if you'll join me, because I think that's really, really, really important. So I just wanted to toss that out to you. For those that don't know, we're relaunching so many things. We take an August pause, a Sabbath month, and then we relaunch. And today we're relaunching a lot of things, and one of those things that we are relaunching is the Umius Food Pantry. And Michelle is now the new director of the Umius Food Pantry because of our transitions this summer. And she has done a phenomenal job, worked her tail off for like over a month now, getting everything set, reorganized, all of the stuff that you need to do, make sure you get aligned with all of the requirements and from Multnomah and the state and all of the health stuff. And she's done a great job. So she wants to quickly kind of just briefly say a few things.
First off, I just want to say we are excited to open Food Pantry. I didn't know that I would care so much about food and food insecurity and ending hunger in less than 30 days of taking on this role during the August pause. And so I'm excited to come back as we grow and I grow into this role to share with you more how we can be a part of ending hunger. It's not just about pounds and getting food on the shelves. It's really about helping those that need food and the resource of it. So today, I just want to say thank you for stepping up. We had added 21 loaves of bread You guys, I could cry over loaves of bread, okay? 21 loaves of bread, 13 milk. I have a whole bowl of fresh pears, thank you, from your garden. I have 6 jams that can go with our peanut butter on the shelf, and some canned goods that were donated. And then Troy Clark, you harvested this morning and brought us 2 bowls of tomatoes that we could distribute this morning on our first Back to Food Pantry. I just can't tell you guys what it's like to see food in abundance and know that we get to care for people today. This will be my first time serving in this capacity, I've never worked a food pantry in the format it's in currently, so I'm really excited to see where we can do better. I'm excited to see how we can better serve and understand who our clients are at UMES Food Pantry. But this can't happen without you guys participating. So thank you for answering the call to the need for food and the supplies that we didn't get through Oregon Food Bank or Whole Foods Partnership Alliance that we have. So just a reminder, bags are super welcomed. If they look like this and they're from a grocery store with a paper handle, we want them. If they have a rope handle, we do not want those. They are very difficult to use, and we will recycle them if they are donated. If you have a plastic bag that's a grocery bag style, we'll take that as well, but it needs to be durable, like you'd put your own groceries in it, okay? So I'm gonna try to have a card up here and the yellow bag at cards and initiatives, so when we ask for more participation in the future, you'll know where to drop it off, and then I'll make sure it gets downstairs so that we can weigh it in and then celebrate those numbers as a community. So thank you. Thank you for turning this around so quickly. This is I'm beyond grateful, and I know the people that we're going to serve today are going to be welcome recipients of this generosity. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Michelle. There is something about generosity and redistribution. So we're a community that believes there's enough when we redistribute and share. So let's make sure we keep doing that together. And listen, those little bags, those grocery bags, they're 5 cents. You can buy an extra 1 or 2 when you're at the grocery store. Just 5 cents, 10 cents, whatever it is. And we need those to make sure people walk out with their food. So I think that's it. All right, everybody, it's been a full morning. We're a little bit over. So why don't we all stand together as a people? And there is just a slide. Just kind of, once again, it's our benediction. It's our responsive prayer for the week. If you're comfortable enough and you've got somebody significant in your life, would you grab their hand? Allow us to be connected as we read this out loud together, right? So let's read together. God of goodness and hope. Are we doing this together? Together, all right? Here we go. God of goodness and hope. Since we do not know what this week will bring, we take rest in knowing you walk alongside us. May we sense and know the affirmation of your unending love with each new day, and help us to become aware of our tailwinds so that we may give thanks in all circumstances. Amen. Amen. Hey, love each other, love your neighbor, and we'll see you guys during the week. Bye-bye.